Hi, I'm Katie McGee, and we are coming to you from Denver and the broadcast studio here at GBTA Convention 2025. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Yannis Karmis, the Senior Vice President, Product Planning and Development for BCD Travel. Yannis, thank you for coming by.
No, thank you very much for having us. It's a pleasure being back at GBTA this year.
Welcome back. What trends do you think will shape the next generation of online booking solutions, and how can travel programs kind of stay ahead of all those changes?
Yeah. It's a great question. I think travel booking technology starting now to see a renaissance and change quite a lot. So we kind of shifted from a model where things were pretty stagnant for quite a number of years, and all of a sudden now I think the emphasis on making sure that online travel booking tools or digital travel booking tools, and we'll talk a little bit about the difference between digital and online here in a moment, but are really now starting to get much more investment and a lot more innovation. I think first thing is starting with is foundational. Does the booking tool have all the relevant content available that travels and travel programs are looking for? That's the airfares, that's the hotel rates, all accessible in those booking tools. And what's happened a little bit over the last few years has been a lot of fragmentation in content between NDC versus legacy Edifact and different content sources, that there's a lot more pressure on booking tools now to really act as aggregators and bring that content together. I think the second thing is we're seeing a lot more focus on the different mechanisms that travelers have access to those digital solutions. Historically, it's been predominantly web. It's evolved a little bit into a balance of web and mobile. And now what we see is web, mobile, plus AI. Right? And so how do you bring these three different channels together where AI is now a mechanism to create that digital booking, and AI is doing that in a world where you can chat with your booking tool through Teams and Slack and other chat interfaces, and in some cases even talk to your booking tool and have a response backward and forward. So that user experience is rapidly changing. And I think third, there's now an increasing bridge between the tools that the travelers are using and the tools that the agents are using. And historically, those were very separate, firewall in between them, solutions that were not in place today. And what we're seeing now is a real investment, and BCD's investing a lot in this for our own technology solutions to kind of bring the agent experience and the traveler experience together, shared content, shared policies, shared information going to both channels, one optimized for a traveler and a consumer with a consumer experience, the other optimized for a professional agent. To the second part of your question, what should travel managers be doing? Well, I think the first thing is just being educated and understanding those options. There's a lot of opportunity now for window shopping and taking a look. I would say think beyond the traditional, I have a contract with my travel management company and I have a contract with a booking tool company, because those lines are blurring a little bit. And so think about what solutions you need, not necessarily the typical profile of the company that you used to work with, because now more and more companies are bridging those two, travel management and booking tools, and bringing those together.
Interesting. You mentioned AI, and
Yes.
of course, a ton of buzz right now around AI. But from a practical standpoint, where do you see the biggest opportunities to use it to actually improve the traveler experience?
So I think, first of all, AI is now part of the DNA of almost everything we're doing in travel, right? From traveler experience through to data management and everything in between. On the travel experience side, I think there's really two things that are getting a ton of momentum, right? The first one is AI for shopping and booking and that kind of digital booking experience. And in the last really 12 months, the technology, AI technology to enable this in a very effective and competent way has rapidly evolved. And so now we have a number of clients and some new partnerships, including a partnership with a company called Skylink, that are really enabling AI booking from the beginning. AI booking from a chat interface is very forgiving. You don't have to have everything typed in properly. You can say, hey, I want to travel on whatever it is, August 1st, and it's Thursday, August 1st, but really October 1st is a Friday. AI will catch those things and help you correct it. It understands origins and destinations, so it adds a lot more intelligence than typical online booking tools will have with a user interface that's a GUI. And the level of refinability of the results is really, I think, pretty good. We're at the very early stages of that technology now going into production and starting to impact travel programs. We do know that there are corporate travel programs that have started to adopt it with very good success. And what they're starting to see is it's not just moving web to online, but it's changing how travelers engage with their digital solutions. It's easier to do advanced bookings if you can deal with that booking while you're chatting with your colleague about organizing the meeting. You could be chatting with the bot to be able to book the meeting. So you're seeing a little bit more of a skew towards advanced purchase, a little bit more of a skew to self-service with those tools coming in place. Still very early days. The other thing that's starting to impact the traveler experience is we still get a lot of reservations and reservation requests coming through email. And so the new technology and some new partnerships we have in place that allow us to take those emails and leverage AI to automate responses back to travelers. All of a sudden, something that might have been a 2 or 3 hour response rate back in an email, when it has to go into a traditional queue to a traditional agent, AI can now answer that question in seconds, right? And we can get that response back to the traveler. Can I change my trip? How much will it cost to change my trip? I'd like to cancel my reservation. Can you resend me a copy of my invoice? Those are things now that we can respond back to the traveler instantaneously in seconds, instead of dropping it on a typical email mailbox and then waiting for somebody to pick that up.
It's that streamlining that is just amazing
Yes.
to watch. And when, like you said, the last 12 months alone, it makes you think about where are we headed from here.
Yes.
And it really seems like the topic of virtual payment is another topic that's really been heating up with corporate travel programs. So how do you see virtual payment evolving, and what do travel programs need to know about that?
Yeah, so we've seen a consistent, maybe for the last 3 or 4 years, very strong double-digit growth of transactions moving from traditional payment methods to virtual cards. And it's been a steady stream. I would say that growth curve continues to accelerate. There's a number of things driving it, right? One, virtual payments the technology has rapidly evolved over the last few years. There are more and more banks enabled globally. There's more and more processes enabled globally to be able to deploy these virtual cards. And we're seeing it not just in some of the unique travel where, let's say you're booking for a non-employee and they're not in your expense system and they're not in your traditional credit card program. So you need a way for applicants or contractors to be able to book, and using a virtual card is a great solution there. But we're seeing more migration of hotel programs overall, including employee travel, moving to virtual payments. And one of the big enablers of that is not just the ability to issue the virtual card, but now the ability to collect the invoice back from the hotel and parse that data and reconcile and review that data from an auditability perspective, so that you can move a hotel booking from a traditional, I'm going to pay with a personally issued corporate card, and then I get a folio and I've got to go through a manual expense report, to a model where we can now move that to a virtual card onto a central bill, centrally collect the invoice, reconcile that invoice, and the employee doesn't have to submit that expense report, yet we still have all the auditability and trackability that the corporation, the office of the CEO, is expecting. And so I think that invoice collection process now has really started to become a game changer, because it's allowed us to get into a broader set of processes and drive a lot more efficiency into the whole booking process. So we've got quite a lot of customers now who are saying, hey, let's put our entire program on the table, not just these unique traveler use cases, but move into a much more consolidated way into virtual cards. On the BCD side, we've then made some investments there where we now have integration between the virtual card transaction data, deployment data, card data, invoice data, all coming into a platform we call BCD Pay, where our clients have one portal to go to, and they can kind of see all the bookings, all the payment models. They can look at it by card pool, because most of them have multiple different card pools that they use for different markets or different travel types or different groups of employees. they can kind of look at that and reconcile all of that very easily in one interface. And again, that actually leverages AI to do those reconciliations. So
it's amazing to watch how quickly this is all building, and it makes us wonder what's next. I can't wait to talk to you next year and see what's progressed over the last 12 months. Yannis, thank you so much for stopping by. An absolute pleasure to speak with you today.
Thank you. It was great joining you, and a pleasure again being back at GBTA.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. We are in Denver here at the broadcast studio at GBTA Convention 2025. My name is Katie McGee, and thank you for watching.